Cool.
Good evening, everyone. This is the first time this evening I'm using this camcorder I got from eBay for my own Christmas present. It's a good thing, isn't it? Good job that I give myself some gift over Christmas because nobody else does. Yeah, they do. I'm joking. Anyway, so great camcorder for about 40 odd quid, and I think for now I think it's doing a great job. Anyway, so that's part of a bigger project of doing more videos on my YouTube channel, which to get it more and more active as we go along, and hopefully get as many viewers as we can. The bigger mission is to get lots of viewers on it, to get as many interesting topics on it as possible. And I am interested in a few topics such as culture shock and culture differences between countries. And sometimes you don't have to go very far. There are different cultures in this country from region to regions.
Very much so.
Yeah, I live in Bolton. My friend here lives in Leigh. That's correct?
Atherton.
Atherton, yeah. And I go to Liverpool once a week to get my master qualifications, and it's a very, very good way. Anyway, it's Liverpool. I love the way they do it. I love the way they teach it. It's a great place to go to, and the price is very reasonable too. But anyway, and the one other thing is I was talking about the other night is about habits, because like a lot of us, we got lots of bad habits, don't we? We also have good ones, don't get me wrong. We got plenty of good ones too, okay? But some of the bad habits, for example, is actually procrastination. To postpone until tomorrow, what you could actually do that today. I mean, even little things. For example, I'll give you a couple of examples. One with a magazine I'll receive once a month. And then every 6 months I'll renew my membership to it. And then when I receive the magazine and there is the renewal form on top of it, in the past until just recently, I just did the form for a couple of weeks before I do it, because they give us a bit of time to do it. But that's not the point. And often I got to look for the form after a couple of weeks because I don't remember where I put it.
You just file it away, don't you?
You file it away, yeah. So this time round, I decided, you know what? I've received that form today, and I'm going to send that form back today. Have I got other things to do? Yes, of course, I've got other things to do. But how long does it take to fill a form in, put it in an envelope, go to the post office down the road from where I live, and post it? Because usually I use the post office anyway to withdraw from my bank or to put money in. So why not send that envelope at the same time rather than doing another trip for nothing when it can be. So anyway, my point here is that it only takes a few minutes to do it, and it's a good habit because you postpone that, you put the following day, and then the following day you also want to do something like that only takes a few minutes. Oh no, I've got that renewal form to send, then you forget the other things and all that. So it's to instill good habits in that. There was another good habit as well I mentioned earlier when we were talking is
when you went to Aldi.
Oh yeah, when I went to Aldi, it was to do with the.
Was a bunch of flowers you bought?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, that's me. Thank you for reminding me. So we often buy flowers. Okay, my wife likes flowers, and then it's nice to have some nice flowers in the living room. I bought some flowers, and what we usually do, put it in a vase and leave it until the following day, until we, cut the sleeves, put the little nutrition sachet in it. And we usually wait until the following day. But how long does it take to actually put the flowers in a vase, cut the little thing, cut the flowers, put the nation, put enough water, and put it on the table? How long does it take? At most 10 minutes.
If that.
If that, yeah.
2 to 3.
So that if postponed, that means that it's 10 minutes that you cannot use for something else tomorrow or the following day. Yeah. And I think by installing this good habit is very important. There is another one I've started to do, is about Spanish language. Beside learning English at school, and I learn Spanish too. But Spanish is one of my favorite languages. I've got some knowledge in it. So I've got, like, let's say, some knowledge left in here. So just all it needs is to be reactivated. So the good habit is this: to relearn Spanish. Okay, how am I going to do it? I've got so many other projects to do. Okay, let's organize ourselves properly. It's okay. So how do I do that? I did. There is a whiteboard here. I'm going to turn the camera towards it. And I put myself a little calendar, yeah. I started this on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So far I've done it 3 days. What do I do for the Spanish? Because I've got lots of other things to do. Some people might argue, well, if you've got a lot of things to do, you're going to overload yourself. Okay. It's all about discipline. So this is what I decided to do. After listening to a lot of video on YouTube regarding polyglot and what they do, excuse me. Okay, I have adopted this. Half an hour a day listening, because I learned a lot in listening. That's what I did before I came to this country. I was listening to a lot of programs on the BBC when I was in France. I couldn't understand a word, but after a while I started to distinguish every single word, and after a while I started to make sense of what they were talking about. So my brain was just absorbing it, and I am adopting that same technique with the Spanish. The advantage on this one is that I'm listening to stories for children with the king, princess, and all that. And it's interesting because the Spanish spoken there is beautiful, very well articulated, and it's a story that is easy to follow. Even without the words, you can follow with the pictures, so your brain absorbs it, understand it. And every time I listen to it, I started doing that on the second day, on the Thursday. I write the words. So every time I pick up a word, even if I don't write the words of the whole sentence, there is no point in that. I just write, I just write it down for now. Rey for the king, for example. Yeah, contento for happy, and that kind of things.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to remember all the words unless no, they're not in this one. And but when I read the words again every 10 days, it will start to stay in. Okay.
And your lexicon will evolve from there. You'll be able to evolve.
So yeah, absolutely. And so just half an hour. Why half an hour? Because okay, I love languages. Spanish is one of my favorite languages. So the idea of I could easily say I spend another half hour. That'd be an hour. Then other things I need to do that should take priority wouldn't be done. So the discipline here is not so much about learning Spanish. Well, yeah, because I love it, but it's actually teach yourselves to, how can I put it, some discipline in what you do. If I say I'm going to do it half an hour, this is what I am doing. Half an hour Spanish. And that's it, regardless. Okay? And writing the word at the same time. And go to another story. And after I've gone through a lot of stories, then I probably go on to something else. Maybe Spanish about holidays and that kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah, and so on and so forth. And build it that way, but half an hour. My point is here, I have given myself the objective to do it for a minimum of 66 days. So I started on the 8th of January. So 66 days after that will take me to 8th of February. That would be about 30 days. 8th of February to the 8th of March, about 30 roughly, yeah, and another 6 days after that. So let's say I give myself 70 days minimum and not missing one single day. I haven't done today my half an hour Spanish. I had to see a friend this morning, but he had a few problems though, so that threw it away. But I am going No, I'm not going to go to bed before I do half an hour listening, even if I am tired. It will just go in, and the brain absorbs it. And then after 66 to 70 days, it will be really, the habit will be formed. Yeah, because psychologists said that it takes about 66 days to be able to do that. And it becomes natural, and then it becomes effortless. So the effort is at the beginning of it. Okay, and that can be applied for anything you want. It doesn't have to be Spanish. It could be any languages, obviously, but other things, nothing to do with languages. It could be that you need to do half an hour gym in the morning before going to work. So if you start work at 7 o'clock and then you are an early bird, you rise early in the morning, you might decide to do half an hour a day of running around the block, for example.
Yeah, that would be a perfect example, because if I was to start, say, tomorrow on the 12th,
Yeah,
and that would be to get up at a set time, no later, no earlier, get ready and go into that gym, or maybe just any form of exercise. It doesn't have to be in the gym, it could be a short walk outside, a little run,
yeah,
maybe even a cycle, whatever you wish it was. If the weather's not that great, then you can go into the gym and do any form of sport, or weights, cardio, etc. And on that, obviously from what you said of the 66 days, it should lead you to around the 15th of March.
yeah, that's right.
now.
About 15th of March, yeah.
And then in that sense, within that first 2 to 3 weeks, it'll start becoming something of a norm within
Yeah,
your lifestyle, and by the time you've got to that 2-month, 3-month period, it shouldn't even become something that you have to wake up and think of anymore.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
get up and it's just one of them, it's part of your natural psyche now.
Yeah,
So you get up and that's what I'm doing,
yeah.
and off you go.
Fantastic. So I am accountable to my friend here. So I must make sure I'm not going to miss any single day of that half hour a day with regard to Spanish. So by the time of my birthday on the 13th of March, yeah,
You should have hit that target.
I wish I would. And then after that, it's going to be easy to carry on.
If it's already a part of you.
Because it's already a part of me. And then if we can do that, because this is why often people miss their targets in terms of, what do you call it, like a New Year's resolution. And it's no more, no less than just being able to put a habit in your life, a new habit. But the first 66 days are actually crucial. So what we need to ask ourselves, do I want it bad enough? Another thing, when I went to the training in Liverpool, I think I mentioned it, this coaching, master coach qualification, and he also mentioned about writing your goals every day. I'm not starting that yet, but that's something I'm going to start in the next few days, to write every day what my goals are. So for example, if you want to find a new job within the next 3 months, this is why, and in a particular field, you could write down every day. Then your brain gets used to it, it's becoming slowly second nature, and then you know what action to take. But because these days work for life don't really exist anymore, not even in the police, because a lot of the police force have been reduced, as we know, over the last decades. I'm not going to do any politics, so no worries about that. But it's just a fact. The police force has been reduced. Some of those people may have been working there in 20 years, 15, 20. So not even that is a job for life. So, but a lot of people work from home and have several streams of income. But that's another topic we can talk about at some point in the future. It's just a question of putting a new habit in your life. A good one. And another good habit that John mentioned as well is that he's put a habit in his own life to read half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. I also read on a regular basis a lot of self-development books, but he reads now because it's becoming a habit at a specific time in the morning and a specific time in the afternoon or evening. Okay, so with the Spanish one today, bit a little bit of change in the plan, but that happens. So I need to adjust that. But tomorrow, when I get up, Spanish half an hour. maybe after breakfast, that's fine, but
Yeah.
half an hour in the morning, okay? So that's very important. So I'm going to say in 60, so on the 13th of March, how far I've been with that, how much ingrained it is now. It would have been in my what do you say? What did you use
In your
my,
psyche.
in your psyche, yeah.
Because it
But-
brings me back to a very age-old problem when it comes to people with New Year's resolutions, with diets in general. It's an aim that seems to be aimless. You set yourself a target, but that's all you're going to do. It's a target that you reach, and then once you've reached it, you don't progress any further than that. You've hit that target, and many people, that's why they fail. They want to lose 2 stone, they'll lose 2, and then they put it back on, and then the next year it's the same. Get it off. It should become a lifestyle, a part of you, not just a name in a book. That's why if it's a food, it's not a diet I'm eating, it's a food I'm eating. Because if you see it as a challenge, most people might not have that willpower to
Yeah,
continue. And
yeah.
a diet can be a struggle for a lot of people. It's very much of a problem. It's so much easier, and I've been guilty of it myself, where you may well be going to the gym, but it's so easy when you finish working in the evening to go, oh, don't fancy if I've got time to cook anything. That down the road, takeaway, that's open, I'll get it.
Yeah,
And it's so easy to fall into that trap. Where
it is very easy
and
indeed,
it
yeah.
becomes normality for you to not bother. Whereas, if you don't see it as, oh, it's a diet, that I like that food, I can still eat that food whilst going around my life, and I'll still become of better health through it.
Yeah,
And you don't have to change many of your ways, you can still enjoy whatever you used to do in the past. And it makes life that much easier that you're more willing and motivated to carry on with that.
I was going to say too that a lot of people, for example, they say at the beginning of January, oh, I will be going to the gym like 5 times a week. And I think sometimes people set themselves goals that are far too high. And deep down they know it's not going to be achieved. You got to start even little goal by little goal, step by step, in chunks, in other words, yeah? So if you want to go to the gym on a regular basis or even go swimming, do it in chunks. Right? Rather than say, oh yeah, I'll go twice a week, when you know for a fact you won't go twice a week.
It happens to a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and
Done it
then
myself.
yeah, so and then I use I'm guilty of this one actually, because I do like swimming and does me a lot of good, especially for my back and that kind of thing. And I love water, but I've not been swimming for 2 or 3 months now. And I used to go on a regular basis once a week, and then I lost that habit, so it was not ingrained in me. So that's another thing I must really go back into. So I'll have to put it in my diary, we'll see where I can put it, and then just do it.
Yes, because very much recently, so within the last 6 months, I'd been with my trainer. We'd done very well getting me up to a target that even they themselves were impressed with.
Yeah.
It far outshadowed what I'd initially went to go for. And
And-
then I went for a little period where I didn't go, well, I was normally going 3 to 5 times a week. It did vary a bit, but it kept me up to the target I wanted. Where I got a bit lackadaisical. I let other things take over when I shouldn't have done, and I barely went once, if anything, sometimes a week. And it's amazing how quick you lose
It is.
what you can gain. So,
I've noticed that too. Yeah,
but it's because I wasn't even. I suppose I wasn't even having it ingrained in me when I was going. It was easy to just go, meh.
yeah, it's easy. And then we all guilty of it. Most of us are guilty of it. So I lost that habit of going swimming on a regular basis, though that's another determination. But rather than overwhelming myself with plenty of goals, and then too many goals at once, is to them step by step. So some people would argue that it's about not overloading yourself. Yeah, there is that, but at the same time, I think if we're planning things properly, we can do more better, as long as it's become a habit. And then but it does take an effort. It does take 66 days, according to a psychologist. And I think 21 days, yeah, is possible, but it's probably not quite yet becoming ingrained in you.
Well, it can even take many more months and years after that to become a part of you, depending on your determination, your devotion, and your motivation.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
Right.
that 660 is there, that's an average. It could be less for some people, it could be 50, and for some of the people it might take 90. But the point is to make the effort. Because if you can make little effort like that for one thing you want to change in your life, then it's going to become easier for you to actually do it in other parts of your life. Because
is,
then in your mind you'll think, oh yeah, I can achieve that. Yeah. Oh, I can achieve that. Another thing as well, to writing things down, like I have got on my board, I showed earlier on the video, is to tick it once you've done it on that day. It gives you a sense of satisfaction because you have achieved it. That's done. And now what I do in my diary as well, I just tick. When I've done something, whether it was a video call like today at 3 o'clock, I ticked it. And then with the person I am working with, we give some tasks to do and that kind of thing. And then I just ticked it. Okay, and that's very important. Okay.
Well, that's where it came across, going back to a dual version of what I mentioned earlier. As I started seeing more progress gained within my time at the gym,
Oh
I
yes.
was not only just hitting what I'd initially gone for, my initial target, I'd surpassed it and now realised, oh, I'll aim for that a bit higher.
Yeah.
Well, I won't get there if I don't motivate myself with still being quite lazy when it comes to just grabbing a snack on the way home that wasn't particularly ideal.
No.
So
yeah,
I
I
realised
can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
that I'd do it this way. So I started implementing a more normal lifestyle where I'd make more stuff at my home, and that's where I've got to now.
So
I feel I can hit more and more targets and get better and better. Challenged not by my trainer, but by my friends who come with me.
So are you still going to the gym as we speak?
Yeah, like I say, I had that little bit of a spell where I was got a bit lackadaisical, and that was through many a reason.
Yeah.
But now I'm back on to target, and I'm hitting back to, I'd say about 70% of where I was at my peak, but I'm slowly getting back to that level again.
Mm-hmm.
And I've now resumed back to I
Yeah.
won't call it a healthy style, but a style that suits me best. It's where
Yeah.
if I had to follow some sort of diet or a fad, that's as good as it is. As moment as that ideology seems to, because every ideology has a prominent part in your life,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
for some reason whoever's running that kind of life, they disappear or they change their ways, and you go, oh, that's not for me anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with diets. I would never follow a diet because most people, including myself, probably wouldn't have the motivation in the long run to do that, and it'll just become a failure. I'd rather eat something which I know is best for me, can be included in a lifestyle, and hit a target as well. You've just been mentioning during this video.
And I think also we need to be, I wouldn't use the word realistic because to me it has a slight negative connotation, but I would say a goal you can actually, that's tangible, that's something you can touch and you can reach. So for example, if I say tomorrow I'm going to buy Manchester City Football Club, or next week, that's my goal for next week, okay, so people might say, oh, that guy is mad. And then you will be right. Yeah. So I'm trying to
Between us,
say,
it ain't gonna happen.
yeah. So all I'm trying to say is we need to do things that we can reach, but as long as we can stretch ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, because when I first started, again going back to the gym, when I walked in and saw them machines, particularly when it came to say anything to do with legs, a 300 kilogram was very much achievable in my eyes.
Yeah.
And even just starting with no real training, 220 was a doddle. So within a matter of weeks I'd achieved that just on my own, and at my peak I could just jump about 380, nearly 400, which to me was far above what I'd initially set myself to go for. And I will regain that ability back, and I'll again go for higher until I know I've reached my absolute max. And it's that having that motivation to keep on pushing even when it becomes a struggle.
Yeah, and but the point is here as well is what I would say is you do it consistently, and that's an important word. and often a lot of people say, including myself, we all donate. Life takes over.
Well, certainly do.
But it's at the end of the day, we all have 24 hours in a day, so we can use it the way we want. Yeah, okay. So what I like to say is, yeah, keep going, keep at it, focus on your goals. If you need to change them, do change them, but do not change them too often in such a way that you keep going round in circle, because that's also quite easy. Because we could start doing something, Spanish, I don't like Spanish now in the end, it's a bit difficult. Then I end up doing Italian for a couple of weeks. Then after Italian, I'll switch to Portuguese, why not? I'll try German. No, I think, but that's just the example for the languages, but that could be for other part of your life too. So, first of all, when you fix yourself goals, they need to be tangible. You need to be able to grab them, to touch them basically. So as I just said 2 minutes ago, if I say, I'm going to buy Manchester City in a couple of months, I'm going to go and see the bank, no problem. Well, I think I will need to have some tablets for that, because I don't think that's possible. However, I can set myself other objectives, okay, and other goals. So keep at it, keep regularly, for it to become part of you. And it takes time to shift habit and to actually form a new habit. It takes time. So guys, thank you, Michael, for being with me tonight. So
I just add one extra, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Even without trying to butt in and nick any credit here from Roger, even from, say, my own channel myself, it becomes a habit where you do spend a set amount of time each day.
It's okay.
A set amount of time each day. It can be slightly variable, just depending on the lifestyle you've got, where you go about searching. With me, it becomes a lot of research onto my own channel to find these locations. We won't always be successful. There can be many places you'll find, and many weeks you'll be going on locations and travelling where you just don't get successful, where you need that motivation to carry on, and eventually you will get good content. You will find good areas. Sometimes it's by word of mouth, others it's just through your own abilities in finding, or just sheer luck on some occasions. And that's the whole point about this video, is having that motivation to carry on with in a way, a realistic target that you know you can achieve. I won't be saying I'm popping over there hoping I'll find something and it's in the middle of nowhere in a different land I can't really ever get to.
Mm-hmm.
But in my area, within the expertise I've got, I know it can be attainable in the near future.
Okay, what's the name of your channel, by the way, so we can promote it?
Well, thank you very much, Roger. That would be Urban Northerners.
Can you say that again?
Urban Northerners.
So urban as in URBAN,
yep.
and the
Northerners is in North, NORTHENERS.
ERNES, Northern.
NORTHENERS.
Oh, that's the way you spell it. Okay, NORTH.
Yeah, it's not the right smelling, but yeah. But
okay. So can you? Yeah, we split for any viewers here. Again, let's say slowly. So the full name of your channel is?
It's Urban.
Urban, as in URBAN. That's correct. Yeah.
Yes, and then Northerners, as in NORTHENERS. It's not the particular correct spelling, but it stands out that bit later.
That's okay. If you're not like that, that's fine. So hopefully Michael will get more viewers on his channel, and I'll get a few on this one, because this is the start.
Thank you very much.
And then we'll do it on a regular basis, a video on different topics, and then one of the videos I'll be doing in March then will be about the habits, and hopefully by then I will give